Yes? Yes? Hear that?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Can you hear mine? Oh.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's get started right away this morning if we can. Mr. Weinberger wanted me to make a few announcements, and you know that we don't have any PA building-wide. They're working on that, so there's some things that you need to hear for today and then for tomorrow. One thing he wanted to share, reminder, into the first 9 weeks is next Thursday. Make sure you're caught up on everything you need to. Classroom. Seniors, your Jostens order is due tomorrow by homeroom. Even if you don't order anything from them, you've got to turn it in with your cap and gown size. Okay, so Margie's expecting that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, see her. Juniors, a reminder, next Monday, we're going to take all of you to a post-high school planning conference at Mac High at the Roundhouse. Going to leave at 1. We'll be back late 7th hour. Recruiters from all schools, colleges, military, in-state and out-of-state will be there. Bring some money. We're going to hit Dairy Queen or Brahms when we're done. HOA choir is tomorrow. There will be about another 100 to 125 students in the building from 8 until approximately 1:30, 2 o'clock. Homeroom is with your advisor, okay? Because they use the commons, they're using the gyms, they're using some of the other rooms too. So with that being said, Rachel, are you ready to go? Guys, keep your devices away, please. I know Mr. Weinberger always says that. Hey, you were a great audience the last time that we had Whitney here and that, and you're going to enjoy this today. He's got some good stories to tell.
We're proud to have Inman High School alum Jacob Potter back with us today during homeroom to share a little bit about his path after high school. Jacob graduated Inman High School in May 2017. While in high school, Jacob was involved in yearbook and media type classes, but also completed his CNA certification through the CTE program. During his senior year, Jacob took the EMT training through HCC and went on to an emergency medical technician, EMT, at McPherson EMS. Jacob now works full-time as a 911 dispatcher for McPherson County 911 and still does EMS on the side. Jacob would like to share with us his thoughts on the importance of HCTEA classes offered at Inman High School and how students can go directly into the workforce, community college, and other options outside of the 4-year college plan and be successful. There are multiple ways that lead to being successful after high school, and it is important to look at your options. Please give Jacob a warm welcome.
Hello, everybody. Like Rachel said, my name is Jacob Potter. I am a 911 dispatcher for McPherson County. Part-time, I do EMS. I work a lot. You can ask my mom. It's about all I do. Occasionally, I do like to travel. Recently, earlier last month, I did go to Europe, to London, Paris, and Rome. Also became an uncle. That's pretty cool. So just for definition, 911 is the dialing sequence used for the United States for emergency calls and assistance from police, fire, ambulance services. Calls to 911 are routed to a public safety access point, a PSAP, and that's what I work at. That is what 911 is. It's considered a PSAP. You'll hear me use PSAP a lot. That's just what we work in. Enhanced 911 provides caller information and location to the PSAP. McPherson County is what's called an Enhanced 911 Center. We can handle 8 911 calls at a time, I think 10 text to 911 calls at a time, and we do have what's called Annie Alley, which is your location and basically caller ID with your GPS location is the fancy way to put that. With geofencing technologies, it will be sent to the correct PSAP. So inside McPherson County, you're sent to McPherson County 911. Inside Reno County, you're sent to Reno County 911. Sometimes there is a little give and take with that, and we can transfer to you to the correct agency just to make sure you get the correct responders to you. Within 10 seconds of calling 911, that's when we get your information. It takes like that. And that's on a cell phone. If you call from a landline, it is instantaneous. We have that information as soon as you call. And like I said, the Annie Alley is the automatic name and information and the automatic location information. Has anybody in here had to call 911 before? No one? Just a few? Has anybody ever here accidentally called 911? There we go. We get about 10 to 15 accidental 911 calls a day. The advice I give you is do not hang up. We will come and find you. Hey, I've done it and I work there. It happens. When you do call 911, we ask to know where you're at. If you got your home address, we'll ask your home address. If you're at Walmart in McPherson, you can say, I'm at Walmart in McPherson. We have those addresses saved and memorized. Clearly state your problem when you're calling. Yeah, 2 weeks ago we went to the store and we saw this elderly man and he fell and now my mom's ankle's hurting and now I'm having difficulty breathing. Oh, and by the way, there's a dog running loose 2 streets over. That's not helpful to anybody at all. And you'd be surprised, that does happen quite a bit. And like I said, and also, even if you do call on purpose, do not hang up the phone until we tell you to. If you're in a situation where you can't talk freely, still do not hang up the phone so we can hear what's going on. Even if you're the person that you're with that you're not able to talk freely with, if you set the phone face down and they can't see the screen that you're calling, I can still hear what's going on and I can update those people that are coming to you, help you.
So Jacob, to your knowledge, have you ever had a phone call like that where somebody was being held and trying to get a hold of you? Do you know?
I wouldn't say they were being held. They were in a situation, how can I word this without getting in trouble? They were in a situation where it was unsafe for them to talk freely. They weren't being held, but they did have someone there that was trying to hurt them. So we did tell them to set the phone down so I can hear what's happening. We do have help coming your way.
So your focus is not just the call, but it's what?
Right, it is not, the caller is our most important, that is our most important person. That's our information, that's our resource to what's going on the scene. But we do try to listen to the background noise of what's happening. If you do accidentally call 911 and you say, oh, everything's fine, but I can hear people in the background fighting, everything's not fine. And we will send people to help you. That is our main goal, is for your safety and our safety for our responders. We do want to help you. We do want you all to be safe as you can. I know sometimes you're high school students. I was a high school student. I didn't make great decisions. You can ask my mother. She'll tell you. After high school, I went to go work at McPherson EMS as an EMTB. There are different levels of EMT. EMTB is the entry level. Then you have advanced and then paramedic. Let's see. How did I become an EMT? Well, every day at 12:30, I'd leave Mr. Kearley's class, and he always made me sure I got my homework done. Left every day at 12:30, went to McPherson to the HCC campus there and did my EMT class. That was my second semester of high school. The first semester, there were a few students who did the fire science class, and that's how you get into becoming a firefighter. I did not do that. I don't want to run into a burning building, but I will come help you if you need it. The way that was paid for, Senate Bill 155 is the tuition reimbursement for high school students enrollment in college. Mr. Fong still has way more information on this than I do. Basically, if you're a high school student, they'll pay for your tuition. All that you have to pay for is books. So cost to become an EMT on average per person is about $1,725. Out of my pocket, my senior year, I paid around $425, so that's almost a 75% discount to take it while you're in high school. As you can, anybody taking seniors? Are you taking classes right now? Good, good. Save you a lot of money. While I was at McPherson EMS, I did go to HCC for about 2 weeks. I absolutely hated it. I did not like college. It was not for me. That's kind of here what I'm trying to tell you is college is not for everybody. Does anybody here have absolutely no idea what they want to do once they graduate? That's how I was. So one day Mr. Fong still came in here and during his daily announcement said, if you want to sign up for the EMT course at HCC, let me know. And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. I had no intentions of ever working in public safety when I started that class. I had no clue what I wanted to do. For a while I wanted to be a teacher. I couldn't do it. I thought, if I was my own student, would I be able to do it? And no. But I had intentions of going doing other things, just trying to figure it out, and that's what my calling was. It sounded fun at the time. If you don't have any idea and you're like, oh, that sounds fun, I might try that, do it. Take the leap. It's going to be scary. It's going to be a roller coaster of ups and downs and all over the place, but it could be what your calling is. It could be what makes you want to get up and go to work every day. Personally, I hear people complain about going to work every day. I love going to work. It doesn't feel like a job to me. It's fun. I get to help people every day. It truly is what I love to do. In November of last year, I switched from being a full-time EMT and started as a 911 dispatcher for McPherson County 911. And that was terrifying. I loved being an EMT. I loved working, but the opportunity opened there. And like I said, sounds like fun. Let's try it. So now, as a 911 dispatcher, I'm certified in emergency medical, emergency fire, and emergency police dispatch. So when you call 911, for those that have called 911 intentionally, they ask a lot of questions. There's some of you that get mad at us for asking these questions. The first question we're going to ask you and how we answer the phone is 911, what's the location of your emergency? We need to know where you're at so we can get you help. And then we're going to ask you to tell us exactly what happened. And we will say exactly what happened every time so we get that precise picture. We can paint a picture in our brains of what's going on. For medical dispatch, we can give instructions on CPR, how to deliver a baby. We can do stroke diagnostics. We can give aspirin. We can do all sorts of stuff. For police dispatch, we can give instructions on if there is an active shooter. We can give instructions to the caller on how to get themselves to safety, how to lock down a building, how to lock down a room in a classroom if it does happen at a school. We hope that never happens. But as you've seen in the news, that does happen. And it's very sad. But we are able to give those instructions on how to safely get yourself to safety. If you can run, run. We do have those instructions on how to do that. And it is, each of those classes is either 3 or 4 days, 8 to 5, and it is a full day. And you have to know in dispatch when you're on the console, when you're working, to know which protocol to go under, because there's about around 20, give or take, for each one of those. So around 60 different places I could go to give these questions. And these questions aren't just us being nosy, it's for our responders, because, all right, you hurt your arm. Did you bruise your arm? Did you break your arm? Is your arm severed off there and it's the other half's on the floor? This is going to determine how fast they come and how many people we send. If your arm is just bruised, we're probably just going to send an ambulance. If your arm is bleeding, we'll probably send an ambulance and a fire truck. If your arm's on the floor, something really bad has happened, we're going to send everybody we have. You'll hear me do a lot of medical calls because that's what I run on EMS. If we had a police officer, they can explain police calls. I do know a lot of those police, how they do stuff and how fire does stuff, because we do work with them every single day. There are numerous various job-specific certifications that I have. A lot of them are basically how to look at someone's very private information and not tell anybody about it. It's basically privacy. So this is a medical call that I'm going to play for you. This is not from McPherson County. This is one I found online, but this is exactly how it goes, okay?
926 High Street.
Can you repeat that address for me, please?
926 High Street.
And what's the phone number you're calling from?
444-3624.
Okay, now what's the problem? Tell me exactly what happened.
One of his buddies accidentally cut him with a utility knife, I think, on his forearm.
Are you right now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, how old is the patient?
Mid-20s.
Is he conscious?
Yes, he is.
Is he breathing?
Yes, he is. He was actually standing.
Where is he breathing from?
His left forearm.
Is he completely awake?
Yes, he is.
Is he breathing normally?
So far, yeah.
Is the blood squirting out?
Yeah, it's kind of come out pretty good.
Does he have a bleeding disorder or is he on blood thinners?
I couldn't tell you that.
Okay, that's fine. Alright, I send the paramedics to help you now. I want you to stay on the phone. I'm going to say exactly what to do next. Do not use a tourniquet.
Do not?
Do not use a tourniquet. I'm going to tell her to stop the bleeding. I want you to listen carefully so that we're sure we do it right, okay?
Okay.
I want you to get a clean, dry cloth or towel.
Okay.
Place it right on the wound and press down firmly. Don't lift it up to look. You want to leave it right there. Do not look at it, okay?
Okay.
Alright, are you doing that right now?
No, I'm about
can. Leave it on if it's already on.
Leave it on there. Here, wrap this around there. Put pressure on it like this. I gave him my sweatshirt.
Okay. Is the bleeding controlled now?
Yeah, it's pretty controlled, but it's still gonna, it's a pretty good cut. He's definitely gonna need stitches.
Okay, reach him to help you on the way. Don't give him anything to eat or drink. It might make him sick. Correspond to the doctor. Did you hear me on that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And again, don't move him up. It's absolutely necessary. Just trying to be strong like the too hard, but I do want you to watch him very closely.
Okay, yeah, we're not too far south of the St. Mary's Hospital.
Okay, if he becomes less awake and he vomits, I want you to quickly put him on his side, okay?
Okay.
Just have somebody meet the paramedics. Are you visible from the road?
Yes, I am.
Have somebody meet the paramedics, so just flag him down when you see him. If he gets worse in any way, I want you to call me back immediately for further instructions, okay?
Okay.
Alright.
So in that call, it says up there on the top left, it's kind of grayed out now, 2 minutes and 5 seconds for that entire 911 call. At what point do you think they sent the ambulance? When they said the blood was spurting out, it switched to a different screen and then was flashed back to those questions. That's when they sent the ambulance. That's why people get mad at us. They think these questions are a waste of their time. We've already sent help. We already have people coming your way when we're asking these questions. These are just to update our responders, trying to get them that information, and they're very, very important to them. Any questions on how a 911 call works? Mr. C?
Is there a transcript of these calls or each incident that occurred?
Yes, so this call, it was what we call Protocol 21. It was the, let me see here. Down here at the very bottom, where it says Chief Complaint Code, they type number 21. So Protocol 21 for medical is hemorrhage, laceration, bleeding control. So for each situation, like we have breathing ones, we have cardiac arrest, we have labor, we have just about anything. So yeah, there are very specific protocol questions in what we do, and we do read off of them, but it's not just reading off of a script. It is, you heard that, it sounded like a conversation. It wasn't me interrogating, them interrogating someone. It's, why did this, just a normal conversation. We're getting some help sent your way. We don't want anyone to freak out because that's not going to help anybody. Anybody else?
How many computer screens are open when you're
So, I'll just walk here again. So this is what our console looks like. We sit at these. There's 5 of them here for McPherson County. This screen right here on the right-hand side, that's our radio. That's how we talk to our responders. That's how we page out the first responders. We do set off the tornado sirens for McPherson County there. We page out the weather watchers. And that's how we do that. Here is what's called, these 3 monitors here, that's our main actual computer. The screen on the right, that's our CAD system. That's where that person was typing in that address there and getting their phone number. And linked to that is those protocols, and we call that, it's a company called ProQA, Priority Dispatch, and it's a company based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's used worldwide. And I thought, yeah, worldwide, whatever. When I was in London, we had to call for 911, and they use the exact same questions that we use here. They are translated into 57 different languages around the world. The top screen is a map for our active incidents or where the calls are going on at the time. The screen on the left is what's called OpenFox. That's where we run driver's license, license plates, enter warrants, take out warrants, enter stolen guns, stolen vehicles, anything like that. So on a traffic stop, anybody been pulled over? Yep. So the officer, when they pull you over, they'll take your license and they read that K, the number that starts with a K at the very beginning of your license. That's what they're doing. They're reading that number to me so I can run it through the computer to make sure that you have a valid driver's license, make sure there's no warrants out for your arrest, make sure that you're not supposed to be wearing glasses when you're not wearing your glasses, trying to make sure that you are safe for the road. The screen on the very left, these 2 screens, this is our 911 phone, or the phone for the entire. So that's where we answer the 911s. That's where we can take text to 911s. McPherson County does have text to 911. So if you can call and talk to us freely, we prefer that because it is going to be a lot faster and a lot safer. But if you are in a situation where you cannot talk freely, but you can text on your phone, you can text 911 now. It will be a text conversation. A few of the responses, like if you text 911, do not do this to test it to see if it works. Again, we will find you. A lot of the responses, if you just text 911 and it says help, you'll get an automated response that says what's the exact, McPherson County 911, what is the exact location of the emergency? And you'll get a few automated responses, but then from there, it's me typing back to you. It's a conversation. And that's what we try to tell people is, I'm not interrogating you for information. This is a person-to-person conversation. We're trying to help. We're not trying to scare you. We're there to help. Any questions? Yes.
So, you're looking at that screen, a lot of technology involved.
Yes.
Is there a lot of training that goes on involved in technology?
The training, the entire training for becoming a dispatcher is around 6 months. Have to be very good at multitasking. A lot of the times when we're on the phone, you'll also be talking to an officer at the same time. And a lot of the calls we have, some of them are just there's a dog running loose and someone needs to come pick it up, all the way to my grandma's in cardiac arrest, how do I do CPR? And sometimes we're so busy that I have to tell you how to do the CPR. I'll tell you I'll be back as fast as I can, but I have to page out the ambulance. So you do have to do a lot of training. There's a lot of multitasking, a lot of kind of sink or swim moments. You do have someone there with you at all times training you, but it's ride or die. You know, I mean, it's either you're going to succeed or someone else is going to have to take over for you. Their failure is not an option there. Nick? That's a job requirement, actually. You have to be able to type so many. I think I'm at around 100-ish words a minute I can type, so pretty fast. There's people that type still way faster than I do, but you get faster as you go. Yes? No, not that I've seen at least. It wouldn't surprise me. Yes? Define paid well. No, I don't get paid as much as a doctor would, but I make more than someone at McDonald's does.
Can you give us a range, Jacob?
Between both of my jobs, I don't know what it is for each of them. I make around $45,000 a year.
And how old are you?
I'm 20. I'll be 21 next month. Well, end of this month.
So could a kiddo go in there at 18 and do that?
Yes, they can. Yes.
Is there room for you to climb up and higher?
Yep. So currently I am what's called a second out dispatcher. So that means I'm released to do everything there is there. There are supervisor positions, and then there's for each shift, and then there's a department supervisor, and then we have the director of emergency management, who is my boss. So there is room for growth at both places. I'd like to, eventually. Mother. There is a lot of stress. Not well. No, there is a lot of stress. There is a lot of things. There's nights that I don't go to sleep because there's things I've seen before. I woken up in the middle of the night screaming and crying because the night before I saw a dad shoot himself in the head in front of his daughter. That is the things you'll see if you do this job. If you're on the streets. If you're down in dispatch, you'll hear gunshots over the phone. You'll hear someone hitting their loved one. I've heard someone beat their child before. It takes a toll. You have to, even in high school, you get stressed. You have your stress relievers. No matter what you do, any stress you have built up, you need to find your out. You need to find your way to let go of that. Otherwise, it's going to build up and you won't be able to handle it anymore. Yes. Biggest thing I've learned. This sounds sad, but I trust no one. Take everything everyone says to you with a grain of salt. Also, that people that, you think, oh, they're not a good person, they can also be a really nice person deep down. People can change for the better or for the worse. So, yes.
What's the strangest
I can't talk about that here, otherwise I get in trouble. It is not school appropriate. Yes. That I got on the phone or went to on the ambulance? Probably the suicide. And speaking of that, it's okay to talk about that kind of stuff, guys. It's a social stigma that you can't go talk about suicide, you can't go talk about mental health, but it's very important. That is something I did. That's a big thing I've learned, is it's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to go to a counselor. I know you're in high school, people make fun of you for the silliest things, and later on in life you'll realize there was a waste of time to even worry about why people were talking to you about that. Life goes on. But if you do have some mental health disorder, or you do have anxiety, or you do have depression, talk to someone about it. Go to Mr. Fonstill, he can get you help. Go to your teachers. I know everybody here has their favorite teacher that they like to go to talk to. Go to that teacher. They're here to help you. They are your best resource right now. Anybody else?
A couple of minutes, any last questions, guys?
And afterwards, if there's questions that you don't want to talk about in front of everybody, you can come up here and talk to me one-on-one, and we can...
I think if it's okay, we'll dismiss you guys. You've got just 3 or 4 minutes left. Thank you for being a good audience.